Greetings! Welcome back to the Old Ways Rising Farm YouTube channel, where today we're playing with some rocks. Now, earlier in the channel's history, I did a introductory flint knapping video, which was a public demonstration that I had been putting on. Today I want to talk about some flint knapping rocks. And further, it's my hope that this is the first in a series of videos where I will talk about useful minerals. Directly useful minerals. That could be something that you can chip and knap, that could be materials that could be used to make groundstone products or carvings, sharpening stones, things of that nature. Because there are a lot of things, a lot of minerals, a lot of materials that you can go out and directly use right off of the landscape, even in a modern setting, you know? I mean, who doesn't need a sharpening stone in your kitchen? Right? So today though we're talking about materials that are useful for flint knapping. Now, if you want to go out and find something that's useful for flint knapping, the first trick is you have to go somewhere where those rocks actually occur. And this could be problematic because they don't occur just anywhere. Okay? There's a couple categories. You have your igneous materials, your dacite, your obsidian, your fine-grained rhyolite, your fine-grained basaltic materials. You have your metamorphic materials, which are your metabasalt, metarhyolite, and metaquartzite. Okay. You have a few really hard sedimentary materials, really hard argillites in a few cases are chippable, but the most widely used materials for flint knapping are flint, which of course is a type of chert, the broader material. Okay? We're looking for some cherts today. Now, I hope to be able in the future to go to a range of sites, range of localities, and a range of geologies, and show you a range of cherts in these different materials and how to recognize them in situ. The one that I got invited to for this little video of opportunity is one of the less common ones. We're in the Appalachians, okay? And if you think about the crystalline Appalachians, which are the Redding Prong, which starts in New Jersey underground, which slowly rises up till you get to Gettysburg, and then becomes the Blue Ridge and goes all the way south through the Smokies, okay? That is the crystalline Appalachian. Some places it's subterranean, some places it's really tall. But it's all the crystalline Appalachians. Okay? Now, all the way around that oval, right, from some spots way off toward the New Jersey-PA border, all the way down into Georgia. Okay? The border of the crystalline Appalachians, you have a contact zone between magma and other stuff. Okay? The granitic rocks of the crystalline Appalachians formed as a magma body, okay, that intruded up through the Earth's crust, which was already things. Could be igneous things like down in Gettysburg where you have metarhyolite, but mostly it was metamorphic and, it was sedimentary things which then became metamorphic things, okay? And this is what we're talking about today. Metaquartzite, and especially jasper. Okay? So at that contact zone, again, I just described a really wide oval, right? But at that contact zone, the magma comes up and it touches some sandstone. Where it touches that sandstone, it cooks it to a more glassy material. That's your metaquartzite. Okay? And in many regions along that oval, you could find metaquartzite, which is hard enough to be knappable. In other regions, you had groundwater be superheated by the magma body to become a geothermal source. That super hot water is a really good solvent of just about everything. Okay? So it dissolves the silica, and it dissolves the iron, it dissolves the copper, it dissolves whatever's there in the magma body, carries it up. If it goes all the way to the surface, it becomes a geyser, right? This is happening in real time in Yellowstone. This is ancient history where I am today. But then as it cools near the surface, it will start to release and precipitate some of what it dissolved. Now, all around that oval I just described, there's little pinpricks of area where it dissolved both iron and silica, and then crystallized as red and orange chert, which we call jasper. And is a beautiful, beautiful material. So I have a couple samples from this area. First, we have, oh, this is a big goonie. There we go. Got the big goonie on my lap. First, we have the parent material. So this is a block of sandstone with lots of cavities in it, okay? You can see these little cavities. They look like little eggs used to be in there. These were ocher pockets. And this one still has a little bit of this clayish, clay-like yellow ocher in it. These are iron precipitates, okay? Now this is very useful stuff. This yellow ocher was mined locally as an iron ore, okay? So this is an ore body. This was used for very long periods of time as a paint, as a yellow paint, this nice ocher in it, okay?
Still is.
Still is, still is. If you take it and you cook it, this is basically raw sienna. If you're from the art world, this is raw sienna right here, yellow ocher. If you cook it, it turns that nice red burnt sienna color. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's what we have here. It's both an iron ore and paint. Here, you can see the iron intruded into the surrounding porous sandstone. You can just see how porous this is. And it formed an ironstone concretion around the edge with the hollow ocher core. Okay? Locals used to call these Indian paint pots for obvious reasons. It'd be nice to decolonize the first word of that, but it is a local name for it. So that's one thing that happened. The pores got filled up with ironstone concretion and this paint. Now, paint is useful. So that's our first useful mineral for today, is that iron ocher paint. But in areas where the sandstone was porous enough that the silica-rich fluids could fully intrude and penetrate around all of the little grains, it got cemented all the way to a chert. Okay? And that is what you see here. So if you look at this one, on this side, it's grainy and orange. And then here is this beautiful red color. Okay? That's a beautiful piece of red jasper. And this is a chippable material. Okay? How do you recognize it? Well, when you're going to an area where you know something like this might be found, the first thing you want to do is you want to look at the surrounding rocks. You're not so much immediately looking for the thing you're looking for. You're looking for what you need to train your eye into what the background noise is. Okay? You want to look at it, and you're looking not just for color. I'm going to take you to the creek behind me here in just a minute. All of the rocks are this orange color, right? You see this sandstone is orange, this is orange, but you're looking for color and shape. Okay? So if I look here, this is the same orange as this, but this is druzy quartz all over it, which is a sign of a high silica rate. But then, if I flip this over, you can see these nice conchoidal fractures of the smooth, fully jasperized region. Okay? So the color is the same, but the shape is different. So you need to train your eye for what does the average look like, and then you're looking for a color and or a shape which is not average. Okay? So I'm going to take you to the creek here, and I'll show you what this looks like. So here, this is just a piece of the average quartzite that has a lot of silica content. You can see it's really resilient. It's got these sort of rounded undulations rather than sharp spots. But if I flip off a corner here, it's really, really coarse. Okay? Now, is that still a sharp edge? Yes. Could you still use that as some sort of tool? Yes. but you're not going to be able to chip a nice point out of it. Okay? So you want to come, like I just did, and find an opportunity to, want to make that not sharp, unless anybody cut themselves in the future. See what average looks like. Test it. You can't see a huge color difference between these. Okay? And kind of memorize what the average rock looks like. So you're looking for anything which differs from it. So this is the piece I was just holding up. Flip your rocks, right? This size doesn't look that interesting, other than the druzy is kind of interesting. When you flip it, compare this texture to that texture. So this shape and form should jump out at you and say, this is different from average. I need to pick it up and look at it. Okay? This piece. Again, look at these textures. Conchoidal fracture, conchoidal fracture. This whole surface is smooth and probably a piece of a conchoidal fracture. That shape and texture difference says, even though this has this black rind of oxidation on it, this is one that you want to take home and check out. Okay? If you're not sure, nip an edge off. So this one looks kind of flat and platy, but it's really coarse. I nipped an edge off it, and it's really coarse. So that's leverite. Leverite where you found it. This one looks different from average, and I nipped an edge off of it, and this is a really fine-grained, knappable quartzite with sort of a porcelain texture. Okay? So this is Jasper. This is Jasper. That is fine-grained quartzite, but still good to chip. Okay? Now these two will make a prettier point, but it will be brittle. This will make a cruddy-looking point, but it will be durable. So if you wanted to make a scraper that you're really going to abuse, this is the better rock. Okay? If you had a bigger chunk of this and you wanted to make a hoe, it would be better to make the hoe out of this than one of these. Okay? So that's what you want to do when you go to a location like this. Now, I can't share the location of this particular location with you because the landowners have asked for privacy. They gave me permission to come, they gave me permission to film this video and share these ideas with you, but I'm not going to give any further location information than that. But there's other places to look for rocks, and I hope to get to more and more of these going forward and to some more public locations that I can share. So if you found this useful and you would like to see more of that, give it a thumbs up so that the algorithm knows that you're watching. That's really good, very helpful for the channel because it helps get the video shared out farther. And if you're so inclined, we have a Patreon for the channel, link in the description box below. If you really want to help out and see to it that we have more ability to travel and do things like this. So, till next time, I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you around at Old Way's Rising Farm.